Over the last year or so, I have become a more active member of the Long Dark community. In that time, I have heard whispers of something that I was not expecting. It is now time to address the elephant in the room, Hinterland. More importantly, I want to discuss the toxic culture that is supposedly running rampant on the official Hinterland forums. If you have had a toxic experience on the official Hinterland forums, please let me know in the comments below. I will try my best to bring this topic into the light with the limited knowledge or experiences I have. First, let's talk about all the other controversies that are going on with Hinterland and the Long Dark. Believe it or not, there are quite a few of them. The biggest is the lack of communication between the devs and community members. Then there is the unacceptable quality of the console versions of the Long Dark, including the crashing issues for PS4, PS5, and Switch. Next is the delays upon delays for the Far Territory expansion updates and Wintermute Episode 5. Then there was the story about a certain Hinterland dev criticizing the developer of Manor Lords. Finally, there was the catastrophic Cougar outrage that boiled over to the point that Hinterland was forced to remove it from the game and rework it. All of these controversies are somewhat related for this video for the same reason. Hinterland has a PR problem. PR, or public relations, is the public perception of a company. Basically, PR with the community members is down the Langston mine. Some of these issues can be resolved by money and resources, but others are down to leadership. Let's get back to the main topic of this video. The official forums, from what I've heard, is pristine. This is concerning. First, let me state all of the allegations that I've read and heard about over the last several months. Criticism of any kind is considered harmful to the devs. Criticism can lead to ban threats or a ban. Certain members of the forums, not developers, board the toxic train against other members of the forums. Wishlist posts are targeted by certain toxic members of the forums just for suggesting ideas to the devs. Mass reporting bugs in the forums, which is where bugs are reported, can lead to a ban. Certain toxic community members have been hired to be moderators for the forums. The toxic behavior extends to the Steam forums, resulting in people getting banned. And finally, the toxicity within the official Hinterland forums is mostly perpetrated and allowed to persist by one person. Basically, if you have any sort of criticism for the game, small or big, suggest anything that could be added, or report large number of bugs, you can and will probably get banned. Frankly, this is horrendously unprofessional, especially since many of the stories I've heard pinpoints this toxic culture on one developer. It's insane that Hinterland allows this awful behavior to persist. The main reason is probably that this developer has leadership armor, which is a repulsive abuse of power. This is why the forums look clean and healthy. Most of the criticism towards the devs gets removed and the posters get banned. It's one thing to remove nasty, disrespectful, or even threatening comments and commenters, but banning people for providing criticism is another. It's honestly childish and just grade school bullying. So how do we fix all of these problems, including the allegations of abusive treatment and toxic behavior on the official forums and the various controversies? I want to offer some criticism of my own and some solutions. Who knows, maybe this video will be deemed hostile to the devs and get shadow banned on YouTube. To start, I want to reiterate that most of these issues can be fixed with money and resources. This is something that not all developers have a lot of. I don't know the size of Hinterland in terms of development team, but it is clear that it is spread way too thin. The Far Territory expansion was one way to make money for the continued development of the Long Dark and future games. Releasing the game on console platforms was another. They also have the game's soundtrack, which I've purchased. I know they used to have a merch store and people were clamoring for more when they did the final sale after the pandemic. The problem is that Hinterland is effectively working on 3 different games at this point. The Long Dark Survival, which includes the expansion, the Long Dark Wintermute, and the unannounced game that was teased earlier this year. They also have several other games that they are working on, but those are definitely in very early development, if not just concepts for future games. I believe that the expansion was the source of some much needed revenue and the root of some of these problems. I think they bit off way more than they could chew with the expansion, spreading their resources way too thin. This issue is compounded by the fact that the game is on every major platform, including PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. Multiply the Long Dark games, Survival, and Wintermute by the 4 platforms, and you suddenly have 8 different versions of the game that are in active development. This is way too much for an indie studio to do. Unless they have over 100 people working for the company, I can't possibly see how they were going to get the expansion done in 1 year. Instead, there were delayed releases for the Xbox and PlayStation, the extremely delayed Switch release, the now 2-year-long delay of Wintermute Episode 5, and the Cougar rework that is certainly going to cause even more delays. In retrospect, The Long Dark should have been completed on PC before ever reaching other platforms. This is just way too much for an indie studio to pull off. No wonder almost every content drop or release over the last 2 years has been delayed. I don't see a solution to fix these issues without more money and resources. Next, there are some positions at Hinterland that sorely need to be filled or replaced. First, Hinterland needs a community manager. I don't care if they say they have one or not, a proper community manager is needed. Whoever is responsible for the community manager role, if it is actually filled, is either really bad at their job or is simultaneously doing other jobs at the company. Fix the communication problem and a lot of PR related issues can be alleviated. Second, Hinterland needs proper paid moderators on the official forums. Allegedly, Hinterland has recruited some of the toxic forum members to be moderators. There are so many qualified people out there that have lost their jobs over the last year of tumultuous layoffs in the games and tech industry that you could easily find someone qualified. Finally, this is addressed to the one developer that is allegedly responsible for this mess on the forums. I know that game development is difficult. I've had plenty of experience observing and being a part of this industry. What Hinterland has created is something so incredibly rare in this industry. A beloved indie game made by a company that cares about its fans as much as it cares about its developers. Making a game as large and complex as The Long Dark over a 10-year period is a rare opportunity that most devs only get to dream of. To see it keep going is something we as developers and fans of our favorite games wish to see more often. Do not let your ego be the reason this good thing comes crashing down. Do not bring your fellow developers down with you. We may be making video games, but professionalism is still vital to the process. If the allegations are entirely true, then please, either step forward and make things right, or step down and leave Hinterland. If they are partially true, now is the time to right those wrongs. If they are all false, then you still have a lot of work to do to fix the various problems and controversies that Hinterland is facing. I don't even have to name you because I know that everyone watching knows you by name. It isn't a secret. Do the right thing. I wish I didn't need to reiterate how bad this type of thing is in the games industry. Without a QA team the size of an Amazon fulfillment center and the free criticism from your fans, there is almost no way to make great games these days. That is how game development works now. Your fans and community members are one of the most valuable resources to make your game better. What Hinterland is allowing to happen on the official forums is PR suicide. If this toxicity spreads and gets worse, I don't see myself getting their next game. Since all the information I provided in this video is secondhand and was shared with me by other people, please be sure to share your experiences in the comments below. Please let me know if you have had any toxic experiences or if you have been banned from the official forums for criticism. If you are in agreement with these allegations, please vote with your wallet. Even if your purchase of The Long Dark was 10 years ago or yesterday, your purchase isn't a one-time thing. You can always have your voice heard outside of Hinterland's reach. I hate to have to report this type of behavior about a company that has given us this game and the amazing things it has done for my channel in the last year and a half. But silence is violence. This game has literally changed my life for the better, especially in the last 2 years, but I can no longer be silent about this issue. I hope this is the last time I have to make such a depressing video about Hinterland and The Long Dark. If you want to catch up on any lore I've already covered, you can check out all the various playlists for the history of The Long Dark, Wintermute, Rudiger's Project, the people and places of Great Bear Island, and the Buffer Memories. They will be linked in the description. If you enjoyed this lore video for The Long Dark, please don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so I can keep making them.